What are you waiting for? It's time to take action. It's time to do this. Don't overthink. Hit it strong. It's the Do This Podcast with your host, GP Theriot.
Hey, welcome to the Do This Podcast. Stop overthinking and do this is what we say here. And I'm super excited because this is episode number 2, and I'm your host, GP Theriot. And do this for me real fast. Start sharing this because we have a lot of fun on this podcast because, again, we say that, do this, meaning don't overthink. Hit it strong is what we say do this stands for. But today I'm super excited because I have got a rock star guest on my show. This podcast, the reason why I started this podcast was because, I know so many people out there that are, business owners, entrepreneurs, whatever it might be, and they have this great idea, but they never do anything about it. They're always on the sideline and they don't execute their plan. Hence why we have this podcast called Do This. And so my guest today, his name is Kyle Baugh, and he's a real estate agent. He's a luxury real estate agent here in Dallas. And obviously I'm in the mortgage industry, and I've had great opportunity to build not only a great relationship, he's a personal friend, but I've seen his success. And this guy, he will be the face of Dallas when it comes to luxury real estate. And Kyle, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
This is a fun experience.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool, huh?
Very cool.
All high tech with our podcast. And obviously we have a producer. I want to give a shout out to Trelvis. How you doing, Trelvis?
How are you all doing in there today?
Good, man. I always love to share this. So Trelvis, if you see his name, he has Elvis in there. So Trelvis, I've got to ask, have you seen the Elvis movie yet?
I've not seen the Elvis movie just yet.
You got to go see it, man. You got to go see it.
During the pre-show, and I heard you say you saw an Elvis impersonator in Vegas.
We did. I'm glad you brought that up. So we just got back on a long 10-day road trip with my kids. And my kids are 13, 12 now, and 9. And we did a 10-day, drove all the way to Vegas and back, but we stopped in the Grand Canyon. And people say, you took your kids to Vegas? I got to tell you guys, if you want to entertain your kids, it's becoming like the Disney World because we saw some great shows. We saw Blue Man Group, Love by the Beatles, and now my kids are loving Beatles. I've already brainwashed them with Elvis, and we did see an Elvis impersonator because I love Elvis. But hey, we're not here to talk about my road trip. We're here to talk about Kyle, because Kyle, you know how to do this. And I'd love to just real fast, just kind of introduce yourself. Who is Kyle Baugh?
Sure. Thanks, GP. So I've been in the real estate industry for 10 years, and we were just talking about, I came from corporate America, construction management in 2012. And ever since been in the Dallas market and seen it's been a good market for the last 10 years, but a lot of different changes and shifts, and we're in the middle of kind of a big one right now. So it'll be fun to talk about it. But loved real estate, getting into it kind of through the construction business, and ever since it's just been it's been fun. It's been exciting.
So let me ask you, Kyle, what was the shift? When did you know, what? I'm tired of corporate America because, we're always kind of brought up because if I remember correctly, you grew up, your dad, y'all moved quite a bit. And I remember when you told me you kind of lived all over, and I thought, oh, were you in the military? Were you a military kid? Because, obviously I was in the military. And I know for myself, I was only in active duty for 4 years because I knew the path that I would have to take of if I wanted to raise a family, I constantly would have to be moving, but also the government would come first. Yeah. And, family for me is my number one priority. So I really respect the fact how you left corporate America. So when did you know at that moment, you know what, I want to get into real estate?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It was the same profession that my dad had. We, like you said, we moved every 2-3 years, jumping around kind of all over the U.S. When I tell people that, everybody says, "Were you in the military?" Actually, my grandfather was in the Air Force, so it was very similar. But got into that the first 5 years. I moved to Georgia right out of college, and then back to Dallas. So kind of on that same trajectory, 2 to 3 years moving, and then met my future wife, and then kind of realized within it was construction management, within the corporate structure that they had, There was a lot of good people in the company. It was a busy time, but you saw the writing on the wall. You'd be moving again. You'd have to be 20 years in before you really saw really good potential out of that. So getting into real estate, started it doing on the investment side with my brother. We kind of thought we'd be a little bit, I have a twin brother, so we thought we'd kind of be like the property brother type.
Yeah, I want to hold on real fast, highlight that. He has a identical twin brother.
Yeah.
And I remember meeting him. I mean, I literally could not tell them apart. And y'all had a really good thing going. And then what happened?
So his wife got a good position, and he moved to Paris, France.
Wait. Paris, France?
Yeah, we had to specify, not Paris, Texas.
Yeah.
But moved to Paris, France with his wife, and they told us they'd be there 2 years. They're still there. I just talked to him this morning. It's been 6 years now. So
6 years. That's
yeah.
incredible. Can he speak French?
Yeah, she can speak French.
She can speak, yeah. All right. Wow.
He's good. For 6 years, he should be good.
So I know y'all had a really good vibe when y'all were working together. So, were you concerned of where your real estate career was going to go? Like, man, can I do this on my own? Because I know a lot of people like working together as teams.
Sure.
And so what was your mindset on that? Because you could have said, you know what, maybe this real estate thing is not the path to go. Maybe I should go back to what I'm good at, get in your comfort level.
Sure.
And you stuck with it. So kind of tell me your thought process on that, why you stuck with the real estate.
Yeah, he left me hanging. No,
he did leave you hanging.
Honestly, by that time we kind of built a business up, or I had built a business up. So at the time when he left, we had when we still have a rental portfolio of properties, but we were doing 2 new construction builds, which was different for us. We took one to the foundation, and we were building up in Lakewood on Lyre Lane. And then we had one on Glencoe, which I still love. I mean, it's an awesome modern house that we were building. So halfway through, he goes to France and kind of leaves me with it. My dad came down and helped me out a little bit. But I already had something good going with it. And so what I did was it just made more of a shift to the sales side. And since then, honestly, I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, well, I've seen it. And, it's been fun watching your career because we were talking about before we got on the shows, how long have we known each other now? Because I remember I saw a sign where I live in my neighborhood in Lakewood, and I was even like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Right? And we just reached out, and we really hit it off. And I literally have watched your career, go from where you are and today. I mean, you're one of the top producers. I'm just amazed with the numbers you're doing, the clientele. I mean, it's all like high net worth stuff, which is kind of my niche too.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun. But I want to highlight something that you just said. So, the show's about do this, right? Stop overthinking. And you mentioned about building, tearing down from scratch and building these. They were $1 million homes, if I remember correctly, right?
They were, yeah. Well, at the time, 800 or 900 at the time. They'd be more, definitely more.
Yeah, what would it be worth today?
Yeah,
you think?
The Lyre one would probably be 1.4 maybe.
Wow. But my point is, here you are. How old were you? Were you still in your 20s?
29,
yeah,
maybe. Yeah,
yeah, right there, taking on this huge project. Your brother, and I don't want to say he leaves you. I get it. Opportunity,
okay.
Opportunity. He still left you. No, opportunity to move to Paris, which is awesome. They're still there. But you could have just folded and been like, I can't do this on my own. But you did, and I love that. I mean, that is the definition of, don't overthink, hit it strong, do this, right? And man, I love it. I remember that one property. We actually did a video tour on that property.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we did, yeah.
But, I love to throw this out there too, is, your wife is, she's very dear to my heart because she worked with me. And I remember when we met and we were playing golf, and I was needing a person. And you talk about, this is a great story about do this, stop overthinking. I had mentioned it to you, like I'm looking for like a business development type person for my team. You mentioned it that night. She reached out to me that night. She was in my office the next day.
Yeah, that's right.
In 24 hours, she accepted I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And she was a rock star.
You guys.
We were together for 5 years. We built a great foundation. So, I mean, obviously Kyle and the Baughs are very special. Now, kind of tell me, you guys have how many kids now?
2 kids, yeah.
2 kids.
Yeah.
How old?
We've got we've got a 3-year-old Jackson, and then Piper turns 1. Yeah, in 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Well,
I don't know if I would have kept going if I had kids. I think that's at the time, in what was that, 2014 or 15, you probably might have done the conservative.
Yeah,
right at that
no,
time.
I hear you. But
Yeah.
you know what? But look where you are now.
Yeah.
And what's nice is, SS, your wife, she's not working now, which is great because
Yeah.
of your career, of your success. And I love seeing that where she can focus on the family because, I tell people family first for me because, what you have to realize is those kids are only there for so long.
Oh,
18 years and that goes by like that is what I
Yeah.
tell people. So I love seeing what you've done. So let's kind of take a shift now. So real estate, right? We're in Dallas. I mean, there's always bad media out there, right?
Sure.
The market's going to crash. Are we in a crash? Rates are going up. I mean, we have all sorts of things. What are you seeing daily right now?
I mean, to echo that point, I think a lot of people, obviously, when they're looking at the paper, reading the news, it's doom and gloom from a point of an insane market. I mean, we've got agents that have been in the market for 30, 40 years, and they've never seen anything like end of 2021, beginning of 2022, and even, the beginning of 2021 and end of 2020. I mean, it's been madness, and it wasn't, obviously, no one expected that to happen. And so we're going from this wild market where, if we were in February or March, if you described a property, because I do a lot of real estate in Central Dallas, East Dallas. So if you described the type of property, that would be active or came on the market, if I had a buyer that said, hey, this is the type of house that I've seen, I could almost point it out to you because there was so little inventory. You probably had, if you dropped circle within a certain price point, you might have had 15 to 20 houses on the market. So, with that it just created a frenzy. It created multiple offers on every property. You had 10 to 20% above list price contracts, and you'd have it 1 month, and then the next month that became the new comp, and then you'd have it the following month, and it just wasn't a sustainable, model. So, obviously it had to happen because you couldn't sustain that for a long period of time, and I think there's multiple reasons. Like you said, the news is the biggest reason. Everybody's talking about a recession, so buyers are pulling back. And obviously interest rates, but GP will tell you they're still not, historically they're still great, and they can offer great products if it's not a 30-year fix. There's a lot of different products you can offer. What we're seeing day to day is a slowdown, a pullback, but good properties still sell quickly. We just had one we listed 2 weeks ago. We had 8 offers on it, sold well above list price. So really, certain areas, certain price points are so great. And I think, the biggest thing is educating the buyers, educating the sellers when you sit down with them that, hey, the market has shifted. We're normalizing. We're into a market where things are coming back to levels. And I said earlier, but it just feels like kind of like 2018, 19, when it was a little bit slower. Rates had increased at that time too, but I don't think there's any reason to panic.
I love what you said too. I think we have to educate both sides. I mean, the buyers and the sellers, and we're in a shift of getting back to the normal is what I've been telling people. But let me ask you this, Kyle: have you slowed down at all?
I really have not slowed down. I would say personally, just a little bit this month, just because so many people are on vacation. I mean, if you look at the travel,
Wait a minute, ding, ding, ding! You said it right there. The normal. Yeah. Summertime, especially in Texas, in July and August, there's always a dip because people are getting out of the heat.
Yeah.
And so people are freaking out because things might be sitting, a week longer. They're not getting offers on their home in 24 hours. But that's a whole another conversation because I think it's about if it's priced right, you will get the multiple offers, right?
Yeah.
But you just said a point though, like, we're back at the normal. I mean, and that's why I love what's going on in the market right now because I see opportunity, market share, and I'm sure you see the same.
Yeah, no, I think, to your point, you look at all the travel indexes and everything. I mean, not only is it summertime, it's been over 100 degrees on average for the last, unseasonably hot. So everybody wants to get out of town.
And to add to that, this has been the hottest summer in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, and you can definitely feel it, and people are seeing it. And then add to that, people haven't taken trips since COVID. So this summer, I mean, if you're in Texas and you're in Dallas, people are just like, it just makes perfect sense. If you look on social media, everybody's getting out of town.
Right.
So you have that yearly, to your point, in normal market, people do that anyway, especially in the luxury market. People, have the income, they can go travel, they have second homes. So August is a big month for people to leave anyway. So you're seeing that in addition to the other things we talked about. I think a big advantage will be for buyers right now. I mean, there's this time period, and we're talking, in the next year or so, it's really giving them an opportunity where, if you were a buyer in March and you made an offer on a property, you just waive everything. You waive all contingencies. You're agreeing to what the seller wants. You're taking free lease backs for, 2-3 months at a time. And now, if you're a buyer, you may have the opportunity to get what you want. You may have the opportunity to come in under list price and negotiate, throw in home warranties, throw in certain things like that, seller concessions. And so, I think if you're a buyer in this market, if you're first-time buyer, multiple-time buyer, keeping an eye on the market and really jumping in now is not a bad idea.
Oh, I can't agree more 100%. I've been telling people now is the time to get into buy real estate. Mm-hmm. Even if you're hearing rates are going up, wait for the market crash. It's not going to, people. I'm telling you, real estate is the number one investment to continue to build wealth. And the key is we just have to educate. And I tell you, if you wait, you're going to get in when everybody else gets in at the same time because they're going to realize, okay, this is what the market's doing now. Exactly. And I get it. I think the two biggest thing is fear and the unknown. And that's why you and I have to come in and educate and build the confidence for these people to jump in, if it's buying or selling. But you got to have a plan and a strategy. And that's where you're so good at. I mean, I've seen the listings you're getting. Obviously, you're doing something right. I mean, you don't have to give the secret sauce away, but what do you think it is? Why do people want to work with Kyle Baugh?
I think the biggest thing, especially when you've been in a few years, and I can't say I've been in it so long, but and I remember when we met, I think you had been in the industry maybe 10 to 15 years in that range. Right. And at the time, I'd only been in for 2 years. I was like, God, that feels like a long time. And now this year is 10 years as a realtor. So I think, having within that realm, I mean, just treating your clients very well. And I know you've done it over the years, coaching, things like that, where you build schedules, you build things that allow you to follow up. And then, I used to do more marketing, I did like Zillow marketing, things like that. But it's grown and built a business and all of our network and our sphere of influence that we can focus so hard on that. And then from there, you treat those people well. And that kind of builds and brings your business.
Well, I mean, I've seen it firsthand with you, Kyle. You are great at relationships. I mean, your clients, not only are just clients, okay, you close a deal, but the true friendship. I mean, I see the stuff that the events you have and just how these people, the constant repeat customers that I get to experience too with you because, we have a good partnership going too. So I think, the key in our business, it's like anything, it's relationships. And I think we get so tied up with social media and the technology. Guess what? I'm old school. Pick up the phone or meet them face to face. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I completely agree with you. And, I know I don't feel that old, but a lot of the social media stuff too, I know I need to work a little more on that. I mean, I think, we're,
but that's my point, Kyle.
Always learning, always growing.
My point is, Kyle, but your business is rocking. It's because of your relationships and you're so good at constantly staying in contact with people.
Yeah, I think that,
know what I mean?
And I think a big part of that, I know you do it, is just having a schedule, following it, having a coach. I would say if you're, an agent and you're getting into the business or you're looking for something, something to just keep you kind of focused, it's worth spending the money on something like that because if you can follow a system, you may not see it within 3 months, 4 months, but that will compound. The growth that you'll see will compound. So
consistency and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
So,
absolutely,
well, hey, all right. So we're going to wrap this up pretty fast, but I want to know what makes Kyle tick. Like, what gets you out of bed every day?
I think, well, and just speaking back towards being in corporate America, I think the great thing about our business is you can see the growth and you can monetize the growth and the what you put into it, you'll get out of it. So I think getting up every day, I'm more in love with the process than I am with the result. So, I mean, closings are great, and when you see the money come in, obviously that's great. But what I really enjoy is seeing from a systematic standpoint, doing the things that get you to that point, and then once you have a closing coming, going on to the next one, finding the next buyer or seller. So I think the thrill of that and to seeing your business grow really gets me out of bed. So
I love that. Yeah. And you've done an outstanding job, man. I mean, I can't say enough, Kyle. How can people reach out to you, contact you?
Either through, I don't feel like say the social media on Instagram, on Facebook, but also my brokerage is Compass, so you can go to compass.com, and then you can just search for me, Kyle Baugh. I do a lot in the Dallas and East Dallas neighborhoods. Find me there. Would love to help anybody out, buyer, seller. I'm available.
Well, guys, remember the name Kyle Baugh for Dallas Real Estate. You know that you have all these shows out there, and I could see Kyle Baugh having his own show at one point because look at this guy. He's got the Hollywood look to begin with, right? But
I appreciate it. They're too kind with that.
Yeah.
I need my brother so we can do the twin thing.
I'm telling you, they're identical. Like I literally can't tell them apart when I see them. So anyway, well, man, this has been fun, and I really appreciate you again. Your career, you've shown, I mean, from, you had a successful career, corporate America, and you said, you know what, I'm going out on my own, because there's risk, there's fear. I don't think there's risk, there's fear.
There's fear, yeah.
There's fear, definitely, but now that you're your own boss, I mean, you know how to do this. And I love, your discipline just in, I'm a big person on health, family, business, and you have all that dialed in. So kudos and congrats to you, man.
Congrats to you as well.
Awesome. Man, you know how I love to end my shows? Go out there and do this.